Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys here on this, it's the 13th, Tuesday the 13th of February 2024. Thank you for tuning in. I got big news for silver stackers out there. Something big that could happen. And we're going to take a look at that in a minute. And another thing, it's a very bad day in the markets today. The Dow Jones has dropped substantially, probably the biggest drop we've seen in a while. Today, it's affecting the gold and silver price. It's affecting the cryptocurrency price. So let's get in there and take a look at this news for silver stackers. Now, you know, Mexico produces a lot of silver. The Mexican president now has proposed a ban on open pit mining. Well, what does that mean? It means that this could really chop into silver production if they ban open pit mining. It says Mexican President Andrés Manuel López presented before Parliament a series of constitutional reforms, amongst which there's a proposal to modify Article 27 so that it prohibits open pit mining. In detail, his proposal calls for banning the granting of open pit mining concessions and activities related to the exploration, exploitation, benefit, or use of minerals, metals, or metalloids using an open pit method. To argue his case, López said that open pit mining causes severe environmental damage and uses excessive water that could be supplied to water-scarce communities. He says it's clear that open pit mining transgresses human rights by affecting the right to a healthy environment and good health. So you got to understand, this is a Mexican president that's putting forth this bill. And it sounds like he's really against open pit mining. Will this bill pass? It says the motion is expected to receive hostilities between the Mexican government and big industry players, as the country's oldest and largest mines are open pit mining operations. In total, Mexico hosts 264 mines that extract surface minerals, most of them located in Chihuahua, I can't pronounce it. Top producers such as Grupo Mexico's Buenavista, Del Corbe, and Newmont, we all know that name. Goldcorp, we all know that name. Fresno Gold Silver Units, and several other mines owned by industries are open pit mining operations. I'm going to tell you guys what. If this bill passes and goes into effect, well, on one side of the coin, we've got increased silver demand in the there's massive increased silver demand in the solar panel industry and also amongst investors, investor-grade silver. Industry hasn't laid off. They're taking their chomp out of the silver. And so you got to have something going out the door on one side. You got to have it coming in the door on the other side, or you're going to run out of whatever it is. I don't care what you're selling. If you haven't got supply, you're going to run out. This could chomp into the supply coming in one side. Meanwhile, we got more going out the door on the other side to things like solar panels and stuff. And demand. You know, you guys got to know something. When silver gets hard to get, that's when demand's going to go up. It's human nature. When the price is going up on something, there's a great demand on it. Everybody wants it. And so at that time, when everybody wants it, they're going to also need it in industry and stuff to make solar panels, this new green initiatives and everything else. So proposing a ban on open pit mining could cut off a huge chunk of the silver coming in one door, and the silver's still going to be going out even faster out the other door. It means that the pile of silver is going to disappear. And what happens whenever you have something that's desperately needed? You can't make cell phones without it. Heck, now they even put it in our underwear. as some sort of a disinfectant. It's used all the electrical circuits every time you want to buy a new television, every time you want to buy a new car, everything. It's got silver in it. What do you do without it? Electrical components have to have it. So there's a great demand for it on one side and dwindling supplies on the other. It's a limited in the Earth's resources found in the Earth's crust. There's only so much here on our planet. Most of it's being consumed and used in things like electronics. And what do we do when we haven't got any left in the Earth's core? Well, there is a lot of silver in the Earth's core. It comes out at around a ratio of about 9-to-1 to gold. So, why is the price like... It's not following the mining ratio, but the ratio between silver and gold. And that's a whole other story altogether that indicates that silver is going to find its old ratio of about 9-to-1. That means that silver could move up multiples of its price just to equal out the gold to silver ratio. Not to count that things like this might come along right here where they propose a ban on open pit mining and all of a sudden I've heard, I don't know if it's true, this is unverified, but I've heard that Mexico, if they go through with this ban, it could cut as much as 30%. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true or not, so don't quote me on that. I'm just putting that number out there to you guys. But Mexico produces a lot of silver, and most of it, I guess, is in these open pit mines. You cut them out of the equation, you got to have a shortage the first day if they close these mines in Mexico. That's all I'm going to say. Now, if you live up in New York right now, you got a snowstorm. It's called a nor'easter. It says, in New England, the forecast of heavy snow is prompting Boston's mayor to declare a state of emergency, canceling Tuesday's classes in all city schools and setting off alarm bells for many residents who scrambled to prepare for the storm. So there it is, the storm. It's going right by my province in the thing here. See, it scoots right on up the East Coast, right through New England, and right across me. I'm going to get belted again. I don't know, probably a foot of snow. Oh, well, can't beat that last storm. I got 4.5 feet. You know, this, if I get a foot, it's not going to be near as bad, you know. I don't know. Let's shovel it, the heck, you know. U.S. Senate passes aid package for Ukraine. Now, this is going to buy some time, you know. They just passed the aid package for Ukraine. What's that, another $60 billion or something going to Ukraine, and then Europe is sending them, I think, 50 more bills. So they're going to have a lot of money for a little while to have to fight with. So it's going to buy time. Because remember what I told you guys about these wars? The dangerous part of a war, like for nuclear sort of thing, or for World War III or whatever, is near the beginning of the war and near the end of the war. So we passed that first danger point near the beginning of the war. There was a lot of saber rattling. There was a lot of nuclear fears. And I remember the articles there about a year or two ago all over the place. Will Russia use a nuclear weapon and all this kind of stuff? And maybe Russia... That's near the beginning of the war. Near the end of the war, it gets just as bad. And so this is going to buy a few months because this is going to drag this stalemate out quite a little bit longer. I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 months. Of this will feed Ukraine for maybe 6 or 8 months. It'll feed their war machine. And so the stalemate will continue for quite a little while longer. Now, in silver today, the silver is reacting to what the markets are doing. We've seen quite a substantial drop of 60 cents. It's at $22.05 today. Don't like to see that, but this is par for the course. I'll tell you, silver is going to remain like undervalued, underwanted. It's going to remain that way until we finally see it explode to the upside. And those $3 days are coming. And, you know, it could be even worse than that if we see something like that were to happen with Mexico cutting off open pit mining. Oh my gosh, that would be horrendous make it unavailable, you know, and you know, these guys that produce things like electronics and stuff, if the price of silver goes way up high, they're not going to quit making the electronics. They're just going to pass the price on to the consumer. So say right now it costs 60 cents for the silver that's in an iPhone, right? And they say sell the iPhone for like $1,400, or how much do they get for those iPhones now? $1,200. I don't know. I'm not keeping touch with it, but I know it's a lot of money for a brand new iPhone, the latest one. Okay, so it's got like 60 cents worth of silver in it. Say the silver price doubles. Do you really think people aren't going to buy them if the price of the silver inside it goes from 60 cents to $1.20? On an item that's worth like a lot of money? Expensive item like that? Sure, they're going to keep on buying their cell phones, but they'll just... In fact, the people that have to buy the silver to make the cell phone, they will charge... And the silver price doubles, they'll charge you 4 times. So they'll make money off of that too. It's just a money... The whole system is just so much greed in the system. I mean, take a look. Look. I'll show you greed. It's just everywhere. Look, see this article? I can't show you what this article says because I ain't going to pay them $1.99 a month or whatever. Just join our natural community of curious, whatever, $1.99, subscribe now and everything. Because once they get them like that, say on your credit or whatever, they just keep taking it. And just, honest to God, it's everywhere through the system. Now, but it's got worse because what's happening is in the deepest parts of the system, they are doing corrupt things. Like it's more than just selling you a product and giving you something for your money. They don't even give you anything for your money. In the deepest part of the system now, what they're doing is they can create the money from nothing and they can give it to their buddies for free. Meanwhile, that's why the price goes up on everything you're paying for. Inflation's a hidden tax, and you're paying it. And it's their corruption. They're all the way through the top end of the system is corrupt now at this point. And it's become like a money sieve. You know the thing that you strain spaghetti in, you pour your spaghetti in there and all the water runs out? Well, it's got all those holes in it. The colander is full of holes. A sieve. That's all the corruption is. Each corrupt individual within the system is like one of the little holes in that colander. You pour the money in the top and it runs out the bottom that quick, because this is why stimulus doesn't work anymore and stuff like that. Because the money just goes to all these rich guys. So they can do a big stimulus package or whatever. You remember when they did at the beginning of COVID, they did those big stimulus packages and stuff? You only got a small percent to satisfy you and keep your mouth shut. The big guys got the big bucks. You guys got like a little check in the mail. That's not big bucks. That's just the crumbs. They ate the cake. You know? Okay, but you don't know that. You're not supposed to know that. I'm not supposed to tell you that. Anyway, we're supposed to be all like their gold at 1991. They are really keeping this price suppressed on these metals. Oh man, when this stuff breaks free finally, but it's only going to break free when they lose control over and it becomes manifest. Everybody, all of a sudden, everybody's going to wake up and say, "Hey, this is only paper. They've been creating it for the thin air. What value does it have?" When that day comes, then you can't put a price cap on this stuff, because this is real money. That stuff is just paper. It's just money by decree. This stuff is not money by decree. This is real money. I was watching a show on the Fraser River there yesterday. It was like a biography, or not biography, documentary, or whatever. It was whatever. It was about the Fraser River. And the guy is on there. He says they're out there panning gold in the Fraser River. You know? So this guy went out there, and I guess he was a tourist, you know, and he parked his vehicle and walked down to the Fraser River and started panning gold just with a pan. You know, he shoveled some dirt into the pan with his hands, and he's swooshing it around the water. And he did that all day. Well, he got about 1/4 of a gram of gold, which is worth less than $20 for a day's work. Doing it most of the day, I guess. You know. That's why you don't see a lot of people down there, because they can make money an awful lot easier at a job than it's real money. It's real, but it shows you the work involved. It requires a lot of energy and work. So the food he ate that day was probably worth as much as the gold he panned, and the energy he had to burn with that food, you know. But yes, he did make a bit of money. Probably made 15 or 20 bucks of real money. But that's the real money. He'd probably sell that gold, take it to a store or something, and he'd pour a little thing into the scale and sell it, and it is 20 bucks or whatever, you know. What they give him is not real money. What he just sold them to come out of the ground is real money. It's always been money, and it'll always be money. It's real. It's not gonna, if a government collapses because they got too much debt, it's gonna show up that other money's not real. But the gold will still be real money. It doesn't matter how many governments collapse. Gold will just be more sought after than it ever was before. You know, and this is the biggest Ponzi they've been ever running in the history of the world. The Ponzi that's running in the United States of America with the Federal Reserve and these Federal Reserve notes. Notes. That's all they are, is notes. They're IOUs. Each one of those notes is worth about $1 million in IOUs against it. It's like, honest to gosh, guys, you're going to invest in that and think that's real money when this is the real money. Gold. Cryptocurrency today. 48,780. That's the only reason this stuff's worth anything, is because of the Ponzi scheme. If it wasn't for the Ponzi scheme, Bitcoin would have never got off the ground. It would have never. They would have still been buying pizzas with the stuff. But the reason why it's worth something is because it is acting counter to the Ponzi scheme. And so what it's doing is it's like a tick sucking blood off of the Ponzi scheme. And that's what's keeping it alive. The fact that the Ponzi scheme is actually creating this. This is if it wasn't for the Ponzi scheme that's going on, Bitcoin would have never got off the ground. Honest to gosh. So we're looking at a Bitcoin price of 48,739. Ethereum is at 2632. And XRP is at 51.9 cents. Now the Dow Jones today. We've had a bad day in the Dow today. 481 points to the downside at 38,315. This is more real money here than the dollar. What you're doing is you're buying shares in something real. So whatever corporation you buy into here that's listed on the stock market, you're buying real shares in that corporation. You're buying real shares of a real company. And most of these companies are not in debt like the United States Treasury bonds. So when you're buying a Treasury bond, you're buying shares in a defunct corporation. At least these corporations, most of them are not defunct. They're not, what I mean by defunct is, I mean, something that's underwater. You know, something that's not a zombie company or something that can't make a profit or whatever and just relies upon this is real stuff. These are real corporations you're buying into. And so they do have some value. At least they have some value. The US dollar's got no value and no intrinsic value whatsoever, except decree and tribute. It's the only reason is the military says, okay, if you don't pay tribute to this, we're going to take care of you. And that's what keeps the dollar value. It's just like Rome. When Rome, they'd pay tribute to Rome. They'd, you know, get money for nothing. You know, it reminds me of that old song, get your money for something. You know, money for nothing. Crude oil today is $77.14. Now, bonds and rates. What we're looking at is the U.S. 10-year at 4.28. It's up 11 basis points. Wow, it really took a jump. U.S. 30-year is up 7.8 basis points at 4.44. Boy, that's a real jump in yields there, guys. That's probably got a lot to do with why we seen the stock market roll over today. That jump in yields. Taking a look at the dollar index today, 104.77. It's probably the reason too why gold went down in price and silver went down in price is probably that jump in yields and the dollar going up. It's all tied together. See, the dollar's going up. The dollar took that jump because of the jump in yields. Interest rates go up, the dollar goes up. Gold, silver go down because they're negatively correlated. Anyway, listen, guys, thank you for listening to my show. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.